Most people recognize that sleep holds some importance. When we're tired, the first thing that happens is we become irritable and inattentive.
I wasn't even asleep.
Sleep loss is also associated with an increased risk of
Are
injury.
you okay?
Oh, I sprained my ankle or something.
Oh no, have you not been recovering well?
No, I haven't been sleeping at all.
As well as sickness.
Sophia, are you sick?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately, and I've been super stressed.
And slowed reaction time.
What?
Sleep loss is also associated with diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and it could even be linked to Alzheimer's, since sleep plays an important role in clearing toxins out of our brains. I'm Audrey DeDamio, and today I'm going to talk more about the importance of sleep, the stages of sleep myths and misconceptions, common sleep disorders, and tips for how to improve your sleep. Let's get started by talking a little bit about why we sleep. Sleep serves many important functions. For example, it improves cognitive functioning by consolidating memories and increasing synaptic plasticity. It helps us maintain energy balance. It plays a role in the growth process and the removal of brain toxins, and it can improve mental health. Though workaholic cultures tend to preach that sleep is for the dead, what these individuals may not recognize is that getting regular, refreshing sleep is more beneficial than staying up the extra hours to cram in more work. When rested, individuals are more productive, they make better decisions, they perform better, and their performances are more consistent. On a more serious note, the amount of sleep one gets per night can be a matter of life and death. As mentioned previously, racking up sleep debt is associated with a number of diseases, but in addition, fatigue can cause lethal accidents. In fact, about 20% of vehicle accidents have identified fatigue as a contributing factor. Just as you wouldn't drive drunk, you shouldn't drive drowsy. To remind ourselves of the dangers of fatigue, in Sleep and Dreams we have a saying, "Drowsiness is red alert." Now that we have a better understanding of the importance of sleep, let's talk about the sleep stages. Sleep is split into two major categories: REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep, this is where we dream, and non-REM sleep. Within these categories, non-REM can be split into three other stages: Stage 1 sleep, Stage 2 sleep, and Stage 3 sleep. About every 90 minutes, we cycle between non-REM and REM sleep, though our REM cycles tend to increase in length as the night goes on. Consequently, REM sleep is thought to dominate the later hours of the night. Stage 1 sleep is characterized by theta waves. During this stage, an individual sleeps lightly. In fact, Stage 1 sleep is so light that if woken up during this stage, you might think you are awake, perhaps zoned out, when in reality you were sleeping. Stage 2 sleep is characterized by sleep spindles, small bursts of brain activity shown in the EEG, and K complexes, large amplitude bursts in the EEG. Stage 3 sleep is characterized by delta waves. In this stage, we are in deep sleep. Overall, non-REM sleep constitutes 75 to 80% of the night. REM sleep takes up the other 20 to 25%. This is where we dream. There are many interesting things about REM sleep. First, during REM sleep, our reflexes are absent. We cannot move our arms and legs. Second, our brain waves during REM sleep are very similar to our brain waves when we are awake, meaning that use of an EEG is generally not sufficient to distinguish between a dream state and an awake state. Instead, we tend to use other machines, such as electroculograms, machines that measure eye movements, to identify REM sleep, since during REM sleep, our eyes move back and forth quickly. Finally, during REM sleep, the activity of our prefrontal cortex decreases, which may be the reason why we generally fail to question the absurdity of our dreams while we are dreaming. Something interesting about dreams is that we are more likely to remember them if we wake up in the middle of a dream.
Oh, I was in the middle of a dream.
Now that we understand the stages of sleep, let's talk about sleep timing. Sleep timing is influenced by both homeostatic factors and circadian factors. Homeostatic factors are reactive. The longer we've been awake, the more we need to sleep. In contrast, our circadian rhythms are independent of sleep need. This independence explains why shift work can be so detrimental to health. Even though night shift workers need to sleep during the day, they usually can only get 4 to 5 hours because their circadian wake drive will not allow them to sleep for longer. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of cells in the hypothalamus, controls our circadian rhythms and operates as a clock that runs on a near 24-hour cycle. Our circadian rhythms are important in regulating sleep, temperature, hormone secretion, cognitive function, metabolism, and more. The importance of our circadian rhythms in regulating our body's normal functioning can be illustrated by jet lag. Jet lag occurs when we travel across time zones, and it can result in a number of symptoms such as cognitive impairment, gastrointestinal disturbances, diminished physical performance, and dysphoric mood. Something to note is that generally, it is more difficult to adjust to a time zone that is earlier compared to one that is later. This is because both our sleepiness and alertness peak twice per day, and one of the times when our alertness peaks is in the evening. Now it's time to talk about some common sleep disorders. There are many common sleep disorders, including insomnia, obstructive sleep apnea, parasomnias, restless leg syndrome, and narcolepsy. Today, I will focus on insomnia, obstructive sleep apnea, and narcolepsy. Insomnia is characterized by trouble falling asleep or staying asleep that results in some form of daytime impairment. Often, insomnia is treated with cognitive behavioral therapy that involves stimulus control, for example, targeting the negative association between bed and sleep restriction, which results in decreased time awake in bed, paradoxical intention, which involves confronting one's fear of staying awake, and scheduled thinking time, which helps individuals to manage their worries before heading to sleep. Sleep apnea is characterized by disrupted breathing during sleep. Specifically, to be diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea, an individual needs to have an AHI score of at least 5, meaning that they have at least 5 apnea episodes per hour per night. Treatments for sleep apnea include a CPAP machine, which uses air pressure to keep breathing airways open while you sleep, positional appliances to keep individuals off of their backs, oral appliances that open the airway by bringing the jaw forward, and surgeries such as tonsillectomies and adenoidectomies, which also function to open the airway. Narcolepsy involves a blending of sleep and wake states, and it is associated with a loss of hypocretin neurons. Some symptoms of narcolepsy include cataplexy, which is a sudden and unexpected loss of muscle tone following emotional arousal, hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations, excessive daytime sleepiness, sleep paralysis, and sleep attacks. Treatment for narcolepsy is generally behavioral. For example, taking brief naps and having a regular sleep-wake schedule can help individuals with narcolepsy to function more optimally. Now that we have a good understanding of sleep, let's tackle some sleep myths. To do so, let's see what some Stanford students think.
I'm here with Sophia. I'm here with Sadie. I'm here with Audrey. I'm with Juliet.
I'm with Liam.
True or false? Being bored makes you sleepy.
I'm gonna say true.
I think that's true.
True.
It's actually false.
Really?
Yes. Being bored doesn't make you sleepy. You're already sleepy, but being bored accentuates it because now you feel safe enough to fall asleep. True or false? Insomnia is caused by a failure to turn your brain off. True.
I will say false.
It is false. Sleep is not a passive state. Our brains aren't turned off during sleep. In fact, during REM sleep, when we're dreaming, our brain waves look very similar to when we're awake. True or false? It is abnormal to wake up periodically during the night.
Yeah, it's abnormal.
False.
True.
It's actually false. It is normal to wake up periodically. Normally, we just have no problem falling back to sleep, so we don't even remember waking up in the first place. True or false? If you wake up early and you're still tired, so you hit the snooze button, it's as if you'd never woken up to the alarm at all.
I'll say false.
False. It is false. Hitting the snooze button and waking up early means we're specifically depriving ourselves of REM sleep, which predominates the latter half of the night. So when you hit the snooze and go back to bed, you re-enter in stage 1, and that's much less refreshing than REM sleep.
Now that we've tackled sleep myths together, I want to leave you with some tips for better sleep. My first suggestion is to make sure to get outside during the day so that you can be exposed to light, especially if you are someone who uses blue light devices before bed. It has been found that the effect of nocturnal light is relative to the amount of daytime light received. That being said, it is important to minimize middle-of-the-night light exposure. Another suggestion that I have is to limit media that makes you feel excited, aroused, or stressed before bed, such as a thrilling movie. It is also important to develop a wind-down routine and to establish a consistent sleep and wake time. Thanks for watching, and always remember,
Drowsiness is red alert.